Hey everyone, it's been a while since I've written anything or posted anything, but God has really been convicting me to get back to writing and just using my gifts that He's given to me just to encourage someone, even if it's just one person that I reached today. To God be the glory. I don't even know how I wrote about this topic or why I wrote about this topic. It just kind of came to me. And I think as people, we all struggle with something that we're not too happy about, whether it's something physically or maybe it's something like you don't feel smart enough or good enough. But most importantly, God loves you. And I just want you to remember that you're on fleek. All right? So don't ever forget that you are special and that you are a gem of God. So I know growing up, my complexion was that was my thing that I struggled with. And so I heard things like, "Oh, you're so black. When you went to night school, they marked you absent. Remember the busing?" Yeah. People used to bust on me about my complexion and when it came to talking about complexions, like my heart would just like start to race because I knew it was only a matter of time before they started in about me being dark. I even had your mom is so black, she's blacker than Marquita. You're black like the street. And I even heard kids say, you're blacker than so and so. I can't even remember the names. And this one was my favorite. I don't want to get dark this summer. And then when they would see me, they kind of look at me and then they go, "Oh, sorry, Keita, I didn't mean it." But if you didn't mean it, then why say it? So that was something that I had always struggled with. And sometimes your peers, they can be so vicious with their words and their actions, and they like to point out the flaws that you kind of try to bury and you don't really want to acknowledge. And sometimes their words, they make you want to change. Like I wanted to be lighter. I didn't necessarily want it to be not light skinned, but I was like, Lord, if you could just make me like a couple shades lighter, why couldn't I have been a couple shades lighter? Why did I have to be so dark? And that was something that I struggled with because of the things that my peers had said to me. Even some of my cousins, growing up, said some things to me, and it was just like that hurts. But I tried to hide it and use my words, come back with a witty joke or whatever. So, on the other hand, I had adults that would tell me, "Oh, your complexion is so beautiful. You're gorgeous. You could be a model." And God knew that I needed those words of affirmations, and like even strangers would tell me this, but to me, I was like, you're just lying. I'm not really pretty. You don't really think that way about me. And like God tried to counteract um, the lies that Satan was spewing, but instead of believing the truth that others were speaking about me, I decided to engage the negative words from my peers. And I don't know, maybe you stand in need of affirmation today. So here goes. You're on fleek. You're beautiful. You're courageous. You're good enough. You're all that and a bag of chips, no matter what no one tells you. So, in case you don't want to take my word for it, take God's word. So, we all struggle with something we like to change, something we like to enhance, or maybe something that's like something that you want to subtract from your bodies. But the truth is, God loves you and you're his creation. So say these words with me. I'm on fleek. I'm all that. I don't know about you, but I know I'm on fleek and I know I'm beautiful no matter what anyone else thinks of me. And Song of Solomon, it says, "Dark am I, yet lovely." So, my freshman year of college, I just kind of stumbled upon this verse. And God knew that I needed this verse. And so from time to time, whenever, I got in my feelings or whatever, I tried to remind myself that dark am I, yet lovely. But I still struggled, and it wasn't like a good 5 years or so later that I finally owned that truth. And secondly, David said, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. God designed me a beautiful tapestry and all of my chocolatey goodness. He designed me. And so I want you to remember that God created you and you're his masterpiece. Whether you think you don't have good hair, you're too light, you're too dark, your nose is too big, your lips are too big, you have too many freckles, you have a gap in your tooth, or you don't have enough booty, or you got too much booty, you're not smart enough or good enough, no matter what it is, you are God's masterpiece. And Peter lets us know that we are a chosen people, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, God's special possession. So hold on to this right here. You are royalty, hands down. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So never forget that you are royalty. And lastly, God said, people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. David was a handsome young man, but God, he didn't choose him because he looked good or because he was strong and he killed bears and lions with his bare hands. No, God chose David to be the king of Israel because he had a heart after God. So God looks at our hearts most importantly. And so after David was anointed to be king, he didn't come into his kingship until a while later. And that was okay because David sat and patiently waited for God and his timing. And even though he was running for his life, most of the time he was waiting to become king of Israel. You know what? He still trusted God. He didn't set up a coup to overthrow Saul. He had several opportunities to kill Saul, but he didn't. Instead, he waited on God's timing. And I want you to remember no matter what you look like on the outside, God looks at your heart. So is your heart for God? What what's your character like? Are you a beautiful person on the inside? Are you someone that's very kind? If you see a person in need, are you willing to meet that person's need? Are you willing to help out? Are you willing to go the extra mile, even though you'll get no benefit whatsoever from it? You'll get no glory, nothing. But are you willing to do this because God placed it on your heart to help someone else? And so, having a heart for God is what makes you a beautiful person. And today, I can truly say that I love me, all my chocolatey goodness, and all my flaws. And because God made me, that's that's just the that's just the bottom line. God made me beautiful, and no one can tell me differently. I'm not conceited. I love me because God loves me. And if you don't love yourself, who else will? So just remember, you are beautiful. You're on fleek. Don't let anyone or anything discourage you or make you feel like you're less than because God said you are beautiful and He loves you no matter what.